Miniature Market has thousands of board games at discounted prices. Click the direct link below to see all of those discounted games. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Back in 1998, Richard Garfield, one of the most prolific game designers in history, the one that brought us Magic the Gathering and King of Tokyo, came out with a little game that not a lot of people know about called Pecking Order. I own that original game and I love it. I was talking with my friends recently about it and I realized there was a new version called Monstrolicious. So today I'm going to be showing you how to play Monstrolicious in its new form, and at the end of this video I'm going to show you just a quick comparison to Pecking Order. Here we go. Monstrolicious is a new implementation of an older game called Pecking Order that came out back in 1998. Designer Richard Garfield, the same one that brought us Magic the Gathering. And interestingly, his inspiration for the game originally was watching birds, go down and fly down on these little perches, and that inspired him to originally create Pecking Order. I'm going to show you how the game works, and then at the end I'm going to show you some comparisons to size, form factor, art, and things like that. Now each player is going to get a stack of tiles, and you're either scaly monsters or furry monsters. Now these tiles, it might be hard to tell in the light, but not only are they UV spotted, there's actually some texture to these. Like you can actually feel the scales here. Now here's a closer shot that maybe you can see those textures a little bit easier. Now I got to show this off right up front. These are the scaly monsters, and it is total sort of Monsters Inc. style art. It is just fantastically done. And here's a chance to look at the furry monsters. Now they're numbered 1 through 12, and that's going to be very important because that's their strength. And the strength is going to determine how you win certain battles in this game. Now the game is called Monstrolicious for a reason, is that you're trying to get these monsters to eat different desserts, and they get bigger as they go up because this says 1, this is worth 1 point, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10 points. If you control a certain area, you're getting that many points at the end of the game. Whoever has the most points at the end wins. This is a special perch where, that's the old game. There's a special spot here where if you own both of these, not only do you get the 8 and 8, 16, you actually get the +3 to own both of those. So how the game's played is you're going to have those stack of tiles, you're going to shuffle them face down. You're going to draw one tile and secretly look at it. I have a 3. What am I going to do with this 3? Well, I'm going to place it face down on my side of the board in front of one of these spots where you can eat something. Now, I want to be careful about where I put this because I put it face down. If the other player then plays one here, this gets flipped face up, and then this person without flipping theirs, let's say they did this. If they did this on their turn, I have to flip this up. Now this player, this is still face down. They tell me if this one got beat or not. And so if this is a 3 or higher, because they're sort of the attacking player, this is removed from the game. But I don't know what that is. I only know it's more than, or it's a 3 or higher. I won't know. So sometimes the strategy is to place in there with a low something to flip something up so you know what it is. Or there's other strategies as well. So let's say they did that. They flipped it over like this and they say, oh, yep, yours is defeated. And I go like this. And then later on, I come over here with a different tile and I go, yeah, I'm placing here. You're going to flip this thing up. And this is a 3, and I say, yep, it's bigger than that. And it goes like this. The other player might play here, and then you might go, oh, that's a pretty powerful one. Maybe I'll put this here. And this one goes, oh, yeah, I'll flip this over. Oh, and guess what? It's a trap. Exploded. Both things go away. Nobody controls it. Again, sometimes you're going to spots, and this one will flip up, and then this player might go, yep, I win. And so I go like this, I go, yeah, I had a 1, and it's gone. But now I know that's a 6. So now I could later on say, I go like this, and I go, you're gone. And now this person knows this is a 6 or higher. Now, there's 2 other special spots here. This is the donuts. If you control this with a tile that you just placed this turn, you get to flip an opponent's tile. So let's say they had something like this. You went there, you control this. You now, because you just placed that, you could flip this up and go, oh, you were trying to trap me there, for example. There's only one trap tile, by the way, for each player. This one here allows you to win all ties. So if you control this tile, well, anytime there's a tie, you win. That's pretty much the whole game. At the end of the game, everyone you control, you get points. That double one with the 8, you get the +3. Whoever has the most at the end wins. Now, in reference to the original game Pecking Order, here is the art style. It's old. You can tell it's older, but it is nice. And this board is a lot smaller, takes up less table space. But if you notice, the width of each of the numbers is the same. Because the tiles, they're actually slightly, they're about the same size. They're maybe a tiny bit bigger than the cards. I had forgotten how small these cards were. I thought they were normal size cards. I had them sleeved, but yeah, same size cards. Let's take a look at that little art. So as you can tell, it's very different from the new art style. It's cool because it's birds. It's not bad art, but when you look at it, it's like, it does look a little dated, if you will. It does kind of look like, I mean, this came out in 98. It kind of looks like it's from the 80s. Again, I didn't dislike it. I think it's cool. How do you compare that to this? I mean, two very different things, right? It's very subjective. I tend to like this better. And the trap is a jaguar. So that's the difference between the two games. All right, well, there you have Monstrolicious and sort of Pecking Order, if you will, there. I love the movie Monsters, Inc., and as I mentioned in the overview, the art style here is awesome. Awesome. Like, it literally looks like you're watching Monsters, Inc. And it looks so cool, and it's really inviting, and the game's light and quick, so putting it in a smaller box and putting it in a lighter art style, I think will help the game, and art is amazing. The tiles, the textured tiles on this are so cool. It's even in that close-up image that I showed you, it's probably not as easy to see, but the tiles look really good. I was really concerned when I was reading about this new version and I read that they were tiles, not cards, because tiles tend to be not impossible to sleeve. There is a game that I have tiles that I did sleeve, Mr. Jack, for example, because it's a deduction game, and if one of the tiles gets nicked, it ruins the game. This game's also a deduction game a bit, and it has hidden information. If one of these tiles gets nicked, it kind of will ruin the game, and so I was worried about this. With that being said, there's no black borders. The tiles are textured. They look really high quality. If you drop one of these really hard or someone steps on one, is it going to nick? Probably. So I still probably wish they were cards just for the longevity of the game. But it is what it is. It's not a very expensive game if it stays in print and something gets worried. $20, you're going to get the game again, right? You got your money's worth. So I would have preferred cards still for sleeving. And again, I don't sleeve very many games, but games like this where, like, if I can tell that that's a 7, it ruins the game, I tend to do that if I really like the game. So, but the tiles are really nice. I love the bluffing and sort of the head games where it's like, you think I'm going to do this. Last time I did this. Last game I did this, and I think you know I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, but now I think I know that you know that I know that you know. It gets into that whole Princess Bride thing. It's really fun. Total head games, bluffing, a lot of above-the-table intrigue that brings this game really what it is. And I like that the battling causes the leader, whoever's winning that, to sort of flip up. And so because sometimes you're doing it because you think you could win. Other times you're doing it because you're like, I wonder what's over there. I have this small number. It's not probably going to win a whole lot. Let me use it to discover. And it's that tactical where you can bluff and put a 1 out on the 10 towards the end of the game and possibly win it. It's just great. You can use small numbers to win certain things if they're going to let you do it. But also it's really good to use those for discovery. You can use larger numbers for discovery. I don't really know what's here, but I'm going to put this here because even if it's something smaller, he'll know it, he'll know it's bigger than that or at least tied with that, but it's a bigger number. He's going to need something bigger anyways, right? And I like that aspect of it. And so sacrificing smaller pieces, kind of like in chess, for the end of the game is great. The game is a great balance of strategy and luck. The order that you're pulling these numbers matter, right? Like if you pull all your good numbers first, well, it's not going to be as good, and you're really going to have to play really well towards the end to win and try to get them away from those things or do certain things with those numbers that are maybe non-conducive to normal thinking, right? So there's a lot of strategy here, but there's also a lot of luck as well. Now about the strategy of this game, Richard Garfield recently put up a designer's diary about this, and he said, a lot of times you have a set of resources and you use them to bid on randomly revealed prizes. And he thought that it'd be fun to reverse that formula and randomly get your resources and use them to bid on a standard set of always available prizes. And I just think this is so interesting. Another designer that does this type of thing often, which is like, let's take the way things always are or usually are and flip them to the complete opposite. Freedom and Freeze, the designer of Power Grid. And he did a lot of that in Findorf, where he's like, a lot of times you race and you spend a certain resource to get something and you get more points than the next person that spent the same amount of resources. Well, he flipped it over where it's like you're always spending different amounts of resources for the same prize. And it worked in Findorf. And it's interesting that philosophy that these moguls of game design are taking things and flipping them on their heads. And it's just so interesting. It creates a masterpiece here that not a lot of people know about, and I hope more people will. I like that there's special spots where one lets you win ties, one lets you flip up an opponent one. That is the only, from what I know and what I've read here in the rules, that's the only rules change from the original game, which is now you flip over the opponent's tile, where before you got to peek at it and put it back, and it was a memory element. I didn't like it. The game is tense and quick, and I love it. Anything I wouldn't like? Well, the board itself is a folding board, and it doesn't, you kind of have to really finagle it to make it sit flat. I would have preferred one of those more sort of puzzle style boards where you just put them together so they don't fold, but they'd fit in the box. And then you only have this wonky thing where you have to really make it sit flat. The tiles, as I mentioned, are hard to sleeve, and I prefer less memory in my games. I love the game. I almost would like to see an official variant blessed by Richard Garfield where when somebody loses a tile, it doesn't go out of the game, it just slides back one space, almost like towards that player. So someone can see, oh yeah, that one got beat earlier, it was a 6 there, that means this other one has to be 6 or higher. It would allow the memory element to not be as big a prevalent part because there is a decent amount of memory here, which I don't like as much. But it's not crazy, so it's fine. But I would love to see a no memory element. I mean, I could play it that way, but I'd like to see what Richard Garfield thinks about this and if he would bless that style of variant where you don't have to use memory to remember, you just kind of know what's there and it's just more strategic. Anyway, great game. The other negative is it's not easy to find. It's not distributed in North America. It's done by Repos Productions and they distribute through Asmodee. I contacted Asmodee. North America is not bringing it here. I bought this game from Canada off eBay. Because it's not here. Please, Asmodee, pick this game up and bring it to North America. If you're not going to, Repos, I think you must have the license right to somebody in North America. Can you please find someone to bring this game to North America? Because more people need to play this game. It's been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships with board games, helping you on the next one you love. Game Toppers upgrades every game you play, and they just launched their 4.5 Kickstarter, which will introduce the new Galactic, Mycroft, and Watson Game Toppers with interchangeable rail inlays, as well as new game mats, miniature gaming terrain packs, leg kit options, dining covers, accessories, and amazing package deals. Search for Game Toppers on Kickstarter or go to GameToppersLLC.com.